before I will start my speech, I want to ask you, all of you guys, because my speech will be in English. That's why it's really important for me, because I'm kind of stressed out. To build down my anxiety, please raise your hands. Those of you who hear me well, especially those of you who are really far from me, and people who understand my speech, please raise your hand if you understand everything. Cool, amazing. So, okay. As I said, my name is Marina, and I am an AI engineer at AZAI Tech company. Well, thank you. My experience, I have 3 years experience working as AI engineer. Basically, I worked with computer vision. It's not related to generative AI, generating images, synthesis, etc. The generative part was related to chatbots, basically working with LLM models, especially with Llama 2 by Meta. The main reason of my speech now that is related to art and AI is that I am really interested in art, because I'm something of an artist myself. Especially, I am writing poems, and this was my initial reason of becoming AI engineer, because once I just asked myself whether is it possible to create something by a human being that can generate art as cool as human can. So it would be really weird maybe in our near future if someone asks you who is your favorite artist, and you just answer ChatGPT or Stable Diffusion. But maybe the future is today. So let's compare. I thought that my presentation will be really bigger so everyone sees that, but unfortunately I wanted you to guess which one of those poems was written by a real person. Joseph Brodsky is a Russian poet, Nobel Prize poet in literature, and this second one, one of them, the other one, was generated by a generative AI model. Well, the answer is, I see no one sees that, that's why the answer is the second one is my favorite poet, not ChatGPT, but Joseph Brodsky, and the first poem was generated by ChatGPT. And as a human, as a person who knows something about the theory of writing a poem, I was really in shock when I saw that these algorithms, some architecture that contains of regression and some magical stuff can really generate something that can be compared to one person did in their whole life. A person spent 30 years just to write something that ChatGPT can write in seconds. It was really scary for me as AI engineer, especially. So this is the second compare. I guess you see, everyone sees that. So can you, those of you who thinks that the first artwork was generated by human being, raise your hands. What do you see? What do you think? Okay, those of you who thinks that the second one was generated by human being, raise your hands. So I see, okay. So I think the most of you thinks that the second one was generated by human being, but that's the wrong answer, because the second one was generated by generative AI, and the first one is actually the work of an artist. I want just to say some notes about these two works. This is a really big ethical problem behind generative AI, because the second one, second artwork that was generated by AI, shall I say, was stolen because it used inside its data set for training this AI model the artworks of the first, like artwork of Erin Hansen, the artist that didn't know anything and didn't give the permission to use their artwork while training this AI model, which raises really good question about whether it's allowed and how we can count whether it's illegal or not to use artworks and copyright problems behind the training of AI. So I just want to shortly say that we have a lot of generative AI models, and this is the most popular ones. And the first one is GAN. It consists of generator and discriminator. As generator, like, basically generates the art, and discriminator basically classifies whether the art generated by the first model can be considered as human-made, shall I say, art, or the art that was inside the data set that this model was trained by. The second one is variational autoencoders. It works as autoencoders. It has like encoder, decoder part, our space reduction and reconstruction of the same space. But the one difference between the original autoencoders and variational ones that it use a probabilistic probability distribution in order to make, like, optimize the way of generation itself inside this model. And the third one is diffusion models. Diffusion model, like, things that works based on the random noise distribution in order to create or synthesize data based on one initial random point. Well, that was just an introduction, because I guess I don't have enough time to explain all AI, as well as explaining all art, because as an artist and a person who has experience working with generative AI related to NLP, I just asked myself, what is art? And I researched and read a lot of, like, books related to art, just in order to understand what art is and how we can consider some artwork, whether it's a real art or just a painting, or I don't know, just a sequence of words that can't be considered as poem, for example. And someone says that art is way of expression, way of maybe reflection, shall I say, of what happened so far, maybe some historical facts, etc. Someone says that basically art is some really complex theoretical laws, rules of how to aesthetically write, aesthetically correct representing of something, for example. After hours of days of research, I just open Reddit and find answer to this question. Basically, art is a way of showing how you see things, smell things, feel things, taste things, and hear things. That's a good explanation in terms of the human experience. The problem is that this explanation, was provided to 6-year-old, like, child, but in any way that explains really good what art is. And after this explanation and maybe some problems related to art, basically the most popular and the first maybe initial problem behind this art and AI fight was related to this painting. This painting was sold with in a real auction, and the money, the question who can get the money, but behind the important question that I can ask now, like who is the author of this painting and who is the author of any other work generated by AI. And studies says that surveys can maybe detect two types of AI, and the representation and like human mind, shall I say, is AI as tool and AI as agent. AI as tool is less humanized AI, and AI as agent is a humanized representation of AI. I will just provide some notes because we have four main types of people behind this pipeline. The first type of people is crowd, basically people who created or provided some data for data sets while like training the AIs. Technologists, basically developers who created the algorithm of these AIs, AI models. Also people who maybe defines whether this AI can be artwork can be considered as created art or as generated by something just generated by AI. And the last type of people is artists, basically people who write the correct prompt to generate the artwork, to generate the images or maybe poems that can be then considered as art. And as we see, AI as tool, is like about responsibility, especially responsibility behind those works who has negative impact, maybe some violence, etc. These people who consider AI as tool, less humanized AI, gives more responsibility to these works, especially negative ones, to artists, people who wrote these prompts, shall I say. And the second one, as you see I hope you see the percentage behind this, like AI as agent, more humanized AI. People who thinks that AI is more humanized gives the more responsibility to first crowd, people who created the data for data sets, then technologists, and the last one is artists, person who can be considered as a person who created the art, but at the end of the day, people gives less like credits, shall I say, to these people. And then, like, why nowadays we can consider AI, or can we consider AI art as stolen art? Well, I guess you all now maybe read the news about stolen books, images, as I said. I just want to repeat that such things is really often in maybe in the process of generating some artwork by generative AI, is that it's called unethical data scraping. They use shadow libraries without direct copyrights, direct permissions to use their books by AI. And this happened with really popular nowadays LLM models such as ChatGPT and Llama. They were trained by these books. And the question behind this problem is whether that's okay or not, was solved by really old, shall I say, ancient laws of copyrights before any of these art things rised. And the question is that whether that's okay to use these old laws, or should we create something new considering the new AI world. So basically these have four points behind these laws of copyrights. First, the purpose and character of use the books is whether it's for commercial purposes or for educational purposes. By the way, I just want to mention that OpenAI and ChatGPT just won this the problem behind like using the shadow library by saying that they have open source-ish product for educational purposes. That's why they have the right to use books without direct permission to use them in training. Second one, the nature of copyright works. It relates to intellectual like copyright and the permission. The third one, the amount and sustainability, the amount of proportion of used work, and the fourth one, the effect of the use in this marketplace. Which raises the second problem is the fact that artists are not satisfied and really angry with these AI things happening, because I don't know whether here like people who are interested in art and maybe artists, maybe web like developer, designers, UI UX, or someone who used ArtStation, etc. Maybe you saw the protest called No AI Art. When people say that it's not okay that AI can be can like post their works in ArtStation or any other maybe platform where human being can post only and take the money from their art, because it's like hard work behind this, like that AI can do in seconds, which is not good, which is trigger of the problem. And the main reason of the problem is violation of their intellectual property rights. As I said before, because that's closely related to data sets while training, right? But we have also positive case of support. They're like provided to websites, to platforms. First of them just banned any images, any works that was generated by AI, and the second one just gives the money to those artists whose work was used by while training process of any generative AI. And that's the last one, and I just want to ask, as I asked myself, if there are any solutions for that, for violation of intellectual property, of unethical use, unethical data scrapping, etc. Well, we can look at this problem from two perspectives, shall I say, from the perspective of AI developers and perspective of users. AI developers for sure can solve this problem by legal data mining, which means that they should take the direct permission to use a work that they want to use in their dataset while training the AI. And users should be careful and read carefully privacy politics of any AI that they use. And also try their best not to use this artwork that was generated by AI to get some money, which is really important. That's basically all. Thank you.
Çok sağ ol Marina. Any question? Kimin sualı var Marina Hanım'a?
Yes, I just wanted to ask about a specific case. Like, as you know, there are like many artists that they are inspired by, let's say, a medieval artist or like a popular artist, like let's say Van Gogh, like in music, like Van Gogh, Beethoven, or others in the paintings too. Like some try to impersonate the style of Da Vinci and etc. etc. But why would we differentiate AI like using the style of these artists and another artist in the contemporary world that is inspired and impersonating the style of the other artists? Like, because one of them is considered art, right?
Not all of these works can be considered as art, first of all, because there are really violation of intellectual properties of a human being by a human being, even if that's not generated by AI. And there is like, shall I say, restrictions, because there is a difference between violation of properties, intellectual properties, and inspiration. And that's the main question behind AI. Like, can AI be just inspired by a work, or they just use the work to generate, which basically means stole the artwork, steal the artwork, yeah.
So let's say if there are specific guidelines that AI follows, then can it be considered true art for AI?
Like, it might be considered as art, but the main problem is, like, main question is which guideline should be and who should create the guideline. And in terms of a law, maybe it's like state laws, maybe it should be some really, shall I say, logically written restrictions to AI, as was made by laws to, like, towards human being, like towards real artists.
Thank you.
You're welcome.